the Clippers are 0-4. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 0-4 with James Harden. Paul George down 11 points per game, shooting horribly during this. Kawhi Leonard down like 4 points a game, shooting okay during this. Russell Westbrook down across the board, true shooting percentage, all the numbers. And in 4 games, James Harden is a minus 67 on the court.
Yeah.
Minus 67. Their starting lineup of the 4 of them and Zubats, minus 19.5 per 100 possessions net rating during this stretch. It like look there, Josh, you can speak to this, I'm sure. Like acquiring a player mid-season is tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter whether it's beginning of the season, middle of the season, whatever. It's tough, and especially someone who changes so much of the usage like that, right? Like that's gonna be tough. And you're gonna need some practice time, you're gonna need some reps. Harden even said, I need like a 10-game window because I haven't had a training camp or a preseason. This is my first action. And I'm like, yeah, we're all trying to find the guy who set up this situation where you would be, just playing your first few games here. So it's all going to take some time, but it looks it looks way worse than it should, even with that.
Yeah, I mean, what I noticed, man, I don't know if you guys see this. It almost looks like they're trying to prove everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to prove it's going to work. See, we're going to move the ball. And honestly, it looks to me like they're overpassing at times. I think that they're overpassing at times. It's getting guys thinking too much. You know what I mean? Like I get the whole, hey, we want to make this work thing, but like guys got to play to their strengths. I think Harden's trying too hard to make it work. Like Paul's trying too hard to make it work. And then just the fact that like Kawhi needs the ball in his hands to score. Kawhi is he's not a spot up shooter. That's not what he does. Right. Paul, you can make work as coming off screens, things like that. But Harden needs the ball in his hands to score. Russ needs the ball in his hands to score. Kawhi needs the ball in his hands to score. And they don't have spot up shooters around them. I think getting rid of Covington and Batum killed him, man, because those were 2 really good spot up shooters and great defenders that they just gave away. And chemistry.
Losing to the Knicks wasn't bad. Losing to the Nets is justified. Like it's when they were getting smacked by the Grizzlies, and they worked their way back, and then couldn't close it out. And I'm looking at that game. I'm like, yo, you cannot be this incompetent against such a battered team like the Grizzlies. Like I know they're playing better this week, but come on, like that, the Clippers should have run them off the floor.
Yeah, Harden's arrival has just kind of thrown everyone off stride. The entire team is just like, and you saw Paul George say, I was just trying to be a glue guy in the first half. Like,
you're not a glue guy.
That should not be your mentality.
You're not a glue guy.
Paul George.
You are not a glue guy.
Yeah.
Nobody should try to make you a glue guy. Like that.
They're trying too hard to make it work.
And then the other piece that, like, one quote really caught my eye when Harden first arrived, and Ty Lue said he told Harden, when Russ is on the court, Russ needs to be the point guard. I was like, good luck. And sure enough, first game, like Harden's already dribbling it up, waving Russ off. I was like, I'm not sure. And I was optimistic going into it. And I still think there's a world where Harden's court vision and his ability to set things up for guys ends up helping. But there's a lot they have to figure out. I wonder if they're going to need to break up their starting unit, brings one of those guys, whether it's Russ, Harden,
it has to be
off
Russ.
The bench.
It has to be Russ, right?
And just try to fix things that way, because I the early returns on all those guys playing together are just disgusting. They don't have enough energy on the court. Like, you need energy guys, and none of those guys are really like, I mean, Russ is kind of like frenetic, but not always in a helpful way. They don't have like the spot up guys. They don't have the guys who want to be like screening and rolling and doing all the little stuff that you really need to do to be a good offense. It's an ugly mix right now.
And I was sold on the Clippers because of they had the scoring power, and then defensively they had all the pieces.
They were
even their superstars.
The first 5 games before the trade.
Even their superstars defensively, like Kawhi, obviously one of the better defenders ever.
Mhm.
Right? PG can absolutely lock up. And then with Covington and Batum, like I mentioned, like those guys were legit, man. Like offensively and defensively, and it's just not. It's not the same anymore. It's just it doesn't. To me, it doesn't work. I think.
Do you
we'll give
think
it some
that 10
time,
game?
but I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think that 10-game window that Harden mentioned is fair?
Because I don't think you can learn in a game. Like I know that's what the preseason's for. That's what practices are for. But like as a former player, man, like there's not practicing right now.
Right. Yeah, I think that's
no
what people don't realize. Like what you might get a practice every 2 weeks.
Maybe, and that's like, okay, we got a couple days here, but even then you're going to use those couple days off to get treatment, rest.
Right.
You're still not going hard, right?
It's more like individual work at that point, right? Like it's not like you're not like, all right, 5-on-5 scrimmage for the next 2 hours. We're not like you're not doing that.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean you might get up and down, run 5-on-0 offense for a little while, but without a defense to actually throw you a look at it, like what are you actually learning from that situation? So I don't know, man. I think they will give them time, but is 10 games too late? 10 games from now,
like
no,
you said with the overpassing stuff, how they're showing they want to make it work, but you have to commit to the other stuff, like cut hard, like run in transition. And you can see Ty Lue after their latest loss kind of brought up all that stuff. He's like, we are showing them this, we are teaching them this. They're just not doing it. And Harden, I think, has always been a little slow to accept coaching on some of those fronts. And I just feel like his arrival has just thrown everything off for them.
As a lazy person who never played in the NBA, I can tell you cutting hard is rarely worth it. It doesn't do anything. You just get the ball and jack up a shot. That's the way to go.
Well, who are their cutters in their starting five? Who's actually going to cut?
I mean,
nobody.
But Russ isn't a good finisher, right? Like, so I'm not sure what that does necessarily. I mean, Paul George maybe could be that kind of guy.
It's let's stand around and hope whoever has it kicks it out.
Kawhi's not a cutter. We know for damn sure James isn't a cutter. Like that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't. I mean, man,
you want Zubats to cut?
I mean, from where? Like it's
exactly. Short corner to short corner, baby.
They have Denver, Houston. They're at Denver tomorrow. Houston on Friday is a home game. They're at the Spurs for 2 games. Then they got home against the Pelicans, Mavs, Nuggets. They have the Kings, the Warriors, the Warriors. I mean, they've got a
dude. That's
those
brutal.
Spurs games, that's a brutal schedule.
It's like legitimately possible they win 1 game during that stretch.
You think they split with the Spurs? Probably. Like I'm sure Wemby gets some.
Any other ones? Which ones? Yeah. Which other ones can you go like? Yeah, they got a shot. Like with that stretch, man.
I mean, maybe the Pelicans are a mess right now, so maybe them. But I don't know, man. It looks pretty bad.
That's a tough stretch. Yeah.
It's why I love the photoshops of who's stopping this, and it's just a shot of the Clippers.
And it's just
a lot of it.
People you're looking at that photo, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at that's the one that's stopping them.